Real. We're about to break down a way to study that's so fast, so efficient, it honestly feels like you're cheating. And look, this isn't about pulling more all-nighters or just working harder. No, this is about a whole new system, a system that helps you get those top grades by focusing only on what actually moves the needle.
I mean, does this sound familiar to you? You sacrifice all your free time. You're grinding away for days, maybe even weeks. You skip out on hanging with friends, you miss everything fun, and for what? To get the same average grade as that one friend who just crammed the night before? It is so frustrating, right? It's completely exhausting. And if we're being honest, it just makes you want to put things off even more.
But here's the thing, and this is really the key. The problem isn't you. It's not that you're not smart enough or not working hard enough. It's your method. It's that old, broken down, inefficient way of studying that most of us were taught. So today, we're going to throw that out and replace it with a system that's actually built for getting results.
All right, so the absolute foundation of this whole new approach is something you might have heard of, the 80-20 rule. It's a super simple but really powerful idea. It basically says that a tiny fraction of what you do, like 20% of your effort, is responsible for the huge majority of your results, like 80% of them. And guess what? This applies perfectly to studying for exams.
So what you're seeing here is a huge shift in how you should think about this. Forget trying to learn every single word in the textbook, all 100% of the material. That's a trap. Instead, we're zeroing in on this idea that just about 20% of the topics are going to give you 80% of the answers on the test. So our mission, should you choose to accept it, is to find that critical 20%.
Okay, so how in the world do you find that magic 20%? Well, it's actually way more straightforward than you might think. You just have to hunt for the high-value stuff. First, get your hands on old exams and look for patterns. What keeps showing up? Second, pay attention to what your professor just won't shut up about in class. You know, those topics they repeat over and over, that's gold. And please, forget reading the textbook from cover to cover. It's a waste of time. Go straight to the chapter summaries and the practice exercises first.
All right, with that foundation in place, let's get to our first big pillar, mastering your mindset. This is all about the mental game, the psychological shifts you gotta make before you even crack open a book. You have to get this. Your brain literally does what you tell it to do. If you go into a study session thinking, this is gonna take forever, I'll never get this, then guess what? It will. But if you flip the script and tell yourself, okay, I can knock this out, this is easy, your focus just clicks into place. It's wild. It's kind of like that famous Harvard study where hotel maids who were told their work was good exercise actually saw their health improve without changing anything else. Your mindset really does shape your reality. Okay, the next big mind hack you need to know is called Parkinson's Law. And it's such a simple, universal truth. Work expands to fill the time you give it. If you give yourself the entire day to write a paper, it's going to take you the entire day. This right here, this is the secret enemy, the root cause of so much procrastination. Just look at this in action. On one side, you have the goal, study all day. What happens? Your focus is low, you check your phone, you get distracted, procrastination heaven. But on the other side, you have a super specific, time-crunched goal, master Chapter 3 in 60 minutes. See the difference? That forces your brain into high gear. It creates its own urgency and razor-sharp focus. And this is exactly why a timer is your new best friend. Seriously. Just setting a 30 or 60-minute countdown completely changes the game. As soon as your brain sees that clock ticking down, it knows it's go time. There's no time to waste. It is hands down the simplest, most effective way to grab your focus and get to work. So that leads us perfectly into our second pillar, which is all about mastering the material. Now we're talking about strategy, how you actually interact with the content you need to learn. All right, this next one is gonna sound a little backward, maybe even a bit crazy, but trust me, it's so effective. Here's the secret. Study the answers first. That's right. Instead of just reading the textbook from page 1, go straight to the questions at the end of the chapter. Why? Because they are a perfect roadmap to everything that's important. You're basically reverse engineering your studying, letting the questions show you exactly what you need to focus on. So let me ask you something. Think about how you study right now. When you sit down for a review session, what's the first thing you do? And what part of it feels the most productive? It's so easy to fall into what I call the productivity trap. That's where you spend your time reviewing stuff you already know pretty well. It feels great, right? Because it's easy and you feel smart. But here's the hard truth. It gives you almost zero value. Real progress, the kind that actually bumps up your grades, comes from diving headfirst into the stuff you don't know, your weaknesses. Yeah, it feels harder, it's uncomfortable, but that's where the real learning is happening. Okay, and that brings us to our third and final pillar. This is where the rubber meets the road. We're talking about the practical tools and the actual habits you need to put this whole system into action. This is all about mastering your method.
So let's put together your new study toolkit. First up, you need an AI assistant, something to quickly whip up summaries and practice tests for you. Second, that countdown timer we talked about to lock in your focus. Third, and this is a big one, a dedicated mistake notebook. And fourth, you need the right fuel, the right snacks to power up your brain.
Let's zoom in on that fuel for a second, because it's so important. Trying to study by chugging sugary drinks and snacks, that's a recipe for disaster. Seriously, study after study shows that sugar actually slows your brain down. It messes with your focus, your reasoning, everything you need to learn. So ditch the candy and grab some brain-boosting food instead. Things like nuts, fish, or berries.
And listen, this mistake notebook might just be the most powerful tool in your entire arsenal. I'm not kidding. This is where you write down every single question you get wrong, every concept you mess up. Then, reviewing that notebook right before an exam, it's the absolute best way to make sure that knowledge sticks and you don't make the same dumb mistakes when it actually counts. Okay, so there you have it. We've covered the mindset, the material, and the method, the 3 pillars. Now let's pull it all together and figure out what your very first step should be. Look, if there is only one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this right here. The goal is not to study harder, it's to study smarter. We have to stop thinking that putting in more hours is some kind of badge of honor. It's not. It's about getting results efficiently. This isn't about being a study martyr, it's about being a study strategist. So I'm going to leave you with a question, a challenge really. Thinking about everything we just talked about, what is the one single dumbest study habit you have right now that you are going to drop today?